Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me well? Yeah? So I just want, before starting the keynote, I just want to know who I have in the room, in the audience. So if you're from the private sector, can you raise your hand from the private sector? Okay. If you're from the government? Okay, so we have quite a few people from the government.
We have people on internet, online, so
okay.
They can write on Slido.
Perfect.
You are helping for me. Please write, and at the end I will tell you.
Exactly, that would be great to aggregate later. Okay, and from other? Okay, so we have a good balance. So I will tell you a bit about 2050, what future we can expect. And first, I'd like to start with a short video.
We are wondering what is happening to the world. Everything is changing.
The very idea of human being some sort of natural concept is really going to change.
Our bodies will be so high-tech, we won't be able to really distinguish between what's natural and what's artificial.
Inside our own heads is the most complex arrangement of matter in the known universe.
You might ask yourself, can we get to be superhumans?
The original Industrial Revolution was driven by the discovery that you could use steam engines to do all kinds of interesting things.
But that was followed by additional revolutions for electricity and computers and communications technology. We're now in the early stages of the fourth Industrial Revolution, which is bringing together digital, physical, and biological systems.
One of the features of this fourth Industrial Revolution is that it doesn't change what we are doing, but it changes us.
So have a look at those pictures. What do you think? What future do you think we'll have in 2050? Just gonna let it run a little bit. So you can see an army of robots with the Singularity, AI taking over, life on Mars, Paris 2050, very green. Singapore 2050, you'll see some videos later. You have all the links, also you'll get the presentation at the end. You can just scan it and get all the links. So my question here to you is, and we can talk at the end of the keynote, which scenario do you believe will happen in 2050? The Earth is peaceful and green. As you've seen on one of the pictures here, the Earth is not livable anymore, because someone pressed the red button, for example, or whatever. We have become a multiplanetary species, and there are many people who are actually working, on a redundancy plan, like a backup plan, the same as the cloud computing. I mean, having a backup for Earth, basically. So, or other scenarios. Think about it, and maybe we can talk at the end of the presentation. So how I see it is that we, at the moment, we still are in control. Humans are in control. We humans are designing our future and making it happen. Maybe I will have a different pitch in 10 years, we'll see. So it's important to realize that the key decisions that we are making today will shape our reality in 2050. Some questions that we might ask ourselves. So, will our global leaders act fast enough against climate change? Will life on Mars become a reality soon? It could be in 5 years, 10 years. I mean, people do not agree, even if it's possible, but this is a possible future according to certain people. Will AI and robots take over? We talk about the singularity, where the robots, basically the artificial intelligence, takes over humans. Some predict that in 2040, 2050, same Ray Kurzweil, for example, from Singularity University, is predicting that. That will happen at some point. Or will we experience a peaceful human-machine symbiosis, so really working together, evolving together with humans and robots by 2050. So when I've done the research, looking at the different scenarios that already exist, people who thought about it, I wanted to share that with you to also get you inspired. So there's a few cities that projected the future. It's easier to do it at a city level than at a country level, especially that with the decentralization, with blockchain, and everything that is happening in a more decentralized world, we can see that some scenarios are saying that the cities will have more and more importance in the future. This is debatable, it's not the point here. Just I'm focusing on a few examples at the city level. So Dubai 2050 shows how AI, drones, and autonomous vehicles will transform mobility and logistics, to be in line with the overall topic here of the event.
In our city, no one owns cars, but rather requests one whenever they need it. Being fully autonomous, these vehicles enable many improvements to daily life, including en route meetings that make the most of every journey. I use location intelligence and sophisticated algorithms to create one connected network that makes travel inside the city and to all over the world efficient and seamless. I also help facilitate on-demand logistics networks, routing deliveries precisely to every citizen's location, even if they're on the move.
So that's one scenario in one city that was imagined, and you can see all the big brands, the names appearing in the video. And there was also a link, so you have the full video if you're interested later on. Singapore 2050 predicts drones everywhere, immersive tech, tree houses, you'll see it. Floating houses, it's not so clear what they mean here by floating houses, but there are other people working on floating houses, like Vincent Calbeau, you'll see in the Paris 2050 design. So when I think about floating houses, I actually, I'm thinking climate change, also having a backup plan. So maybe I will, with some friends, invest in some floating house, like a floating island, just in case things go wrong with the decisions we make today. So, disclaimer, this is sponsored by Kaspersky. I don't have any tie with them. I know about the background, the allegations, but it's not the topic here, just a disclaimer. But they've done this Earth 2050 platform, which I think is very cool, so I'm neutral about that. Just think that it's an interesting tool. Paris 2050, smart city, transforms the French capital into a green city. So let's cover, now that we've seen a few scenarios, the what and the why about 2050. So the first question is, what is the future we want humans to live in 2050? To solve our biggest problems, we need people. To be ambitious, we need superheroes. But what drives individuals to take on such challenging tasks, and what keeps them with pushing this task to the end? Not give up at some point because it's too difficult, because it's too far away. There is a secret, and that's the secret to motivating individuals and teams to do great things. Purpose, and that's the why. Purpose, it's very important. And I will do a speech to inspire 500 young students in Paris on Friday, and I'm also, everything is built around the purpose. I think that's really the most important thing here. And the next slide is really built around purpose, the purpose. What is your purpose? What is the purpose of your city, of your company, and so on? So there is some, at the global scale, if you take the purpose and you scale it up, it becomes an MTP, a massive transformative purpose. So it has to be massive, audaciously big, aspirational, transformative, transforming a whole industry. So that's why it's good to have industry experts in the room, communities, or the planet. So it's something that goes far beyond the scope of your company, of your city, and you will see what I mean by that. It's not a marketing slogan at all. It's a very, very powerful tool, and you have the link to the full article if you're interested in knowing more about that. So let's take the example of Elon Musk. So all his ventures are driven by an MTP. And we'll see some examples, not just Elon Musk's companies, but some of his companies. And it's considered that his businesses are among the most successful in the world on innovation side, impact, and just pure success. So some examples of MTPs, massive transformative purposes. SpaceX revolutionize space technology and enable people to live on another planet. So really the multi-planetary species scenario. The backup plan, basically. Tesla accelerating the transition to sustainable transportation. It's not just about cars. It's really like an energy company. Google organize the world's information. It's not about the company. If you look at their tools, I mean, they organize your photos, on the Google search. It goes far beyond the company scope. It has to attract people and also keep the people in the company by being super ambitious and super broad, very, very audacious. X Prize, bring radical breakthroughs to the benefit of humanity. So there is a carbon price at the moment. I think it's 100 million. That's a huge deal. And I'm working closely with Salim Ismail, who is the founder of OpenExo, and he's in the board with Elon Musk of X Prize that is led by Peter Diamandis. So very, very cool things happening, and they have an MTP. So you have an MTP that will guide you towards 2050. The question is, what to do on Monday? So you're back at the office, you have seen these great inspirational speeches. What do you do on Monday to reach this goal of 2050 with your company, with your city, wherever you are, industry or public sector government? So you start in the future, in 2050, and it's very important. Don't start in 2030, start really at the end. And then you go backwards. And there are many techniques, different names of these techniques of going backwards. And you go down to like this month and like next Monday, what you do. And you can use objectives and key results like they use in the GAFA's OKR to build a framework around that. So how I see the future, I'm a very positive person. That's part of my foundational values. So I see it peaceful and green. I don't want to believe that robots will take over. So I still believe I have hope in humanity. I believe in human-machine symbiosis. I'm already leveraging as much as I can, subcontracting all the things I can with machines and AI and all that, and experimenting. And I believe in super citizens, because my MTP is to transform governments, to make them future-ready and impact positively the lives of billions of citizens. That's my big, bold goal, my purpose. So how? You would say now, you have all this vision, it's nice, but how do you do it? So this is it shows the exponential curve, and you can actually hack a little bit the very linear human adaptability, because we are wired in a very linear way of thinking. We cannot really, like Bitcoin and all these exponential organizations, exponential things. COVID, the spread, the exponential acceleration is very hard for our linear mindset to grasp. But you have some techniques with the right mindset, the right tools, and network. You can actually hack it to be a bit more like faster, linear, but reach this point here faster. So Singularity University is very, very good at this part of explaining which is the mindset tool and network. Those are just examples of exponential technologies. If you remember the first video, there were different parts. These are like 4 groups of, like you see all the classical exponential tech. So you have the full video here. I'm just showing some samples. So I see that I'm getting at the end of my time, so I'm going to wrap up. So here you see some on the future of mobility, some mock-ups. This is clearly very futuristic. You see all the logistics, last mile delivery, all the brands that are, not all, but some examples of brands that are active in this area. And batteries are an exponential tech. Here you can see the future in urban mobility. Airbus is designing that, the Boring company from Elon Musk. Here, this is actually one of my clients with ZAS Ventures, another role that I have, EU consultancy. They're doing really nice VTOL products. This is just a website, showing the website. The high-speed long-distance transit, Japan is the most advanced when it comes to high-speed trains. Hyperloop, there are lots of companies. I don't know how many exactly. To be honest, maybe 10, 15 companies doing Hyperloops. I'm sure you've all heard about those and seen the designs. They've done also prototypes in Las Vegas, in Nevada. Oh, sorry, I passed this one. I wanted to show you the... I wanted to show you the last one, which is very important because it's, I discovered that I didn't know about this project. I'm sure people here are familiar with this project, Rail Baltica. I don't know how far it is, so actually I'm asking you in the audience, if you know about this project, I'd like to interact with you and know more. I'm really curious. Aerial transportation, so that will achieve Mach 5. Hydrogen, of course, we have all kinds of innovation. This is really amazing, this kinds of airships. So this is Flying Wells, another of ZAS Ventures clients. They're doing, you can see it, it just speaks for itself. You can transport containers directly from and to the ship. You don't need to go to the port. It's like direct interaction. Remote locations, you can go anywhere. And there are many, many companies doing that. I don't know exactly how many, but there are plenty of companies transporting trees, and it's revolutionary. So it's coming back, airships are coming back. Boats, solar boats, electric boats, hydrogen. Again, you have all these technologies converging. Now we have the converging accelerating technologies, the acceleration of the acceleration. If you combine all those technologies together, you have fantastic things happening. And finally, so you have also lots of links. I couldn't put all the pictures because of time constraints, but SpaceX, you heard about the news. That's Obayashi, they're building a space elevator, and that's a space catapult. They're like rotating and sending like this to space. It's also being prototyped, and they have raised, I don't know how many tens of millions of dollars. So are you excited about the future? That's my question to you. I don't know. I am. And if you want the slides, please scan the QR code here. And you can also click on the logos if you want to know more about the different companies. Thank you, and sorry for the overtime.